Now let us move to anatomy of coronary arteries. So there are two coronary artery. One is the left coronary artery and another is the right coronary artery. Okay, this left coronary artery arises from the ascending aorta across the aortic sinus. This is the left aortic sinus and this is the right aortic sinus. The left comes from the left aortic sinus and the right coronary artery comes from the right aortic sinus. From there, you can see the left coronary artery. Okay, this is the aorta, this is the left atrium and this is the left ventricle, this is the right ventricle and this is the right atrium and here you have PA. So the left coronary artery, which is the left main coronary artery, comes from the left coronary sinus between the left atrium and the pulmonary artery. Then it divides into two branches. Here you have the LAD and here you have the circumflex. Okay. And you can see the right coronary artery comes from the right coronary sinus between the right atrium and the right ventricle. If you look from the superior surface, this is the aorta, this is the pulmonary artery and this is the left main coming from the aorta. And you have the left atrium and left ventricle and you can see the circumflex going in the left crux. The crux is between the left atrium and the left ventricle. And here you can see the obtuse marginal artery supplying the lateral part of the left ventricle. If you look at the lateral surface, you can see the obtuse marginal vessel and you can see the circumflex going between in the left crux between the left atrium and the left ventricle. And if you look at the anterior surface, here you can see the left anterior descending artery descending in the interventricular groove between the right ventricle and the left ventricle. And if you look at the posterior surface, here you can see the right coronary artery in the posterior interventricular groove between the right ventricle and the left ventricle. This is the left ventricle, this is the right ventricle. So you have the left main coming between the pulmonary artery and the left atrium. This is the circumflex, this is the left anterior descending and this is the left crux. Here the circumflex runs into it. Now you can see the left anterior descending running in the interventricular groove. This is the left ventricle, this is the right ventricle. This is the left anterior descending artery. And you can see that it goes and supplies the anterior 2/3 of the septum and the anterior papillary muscle and whole of left ventricle. This is a supply of left anterior descending. Then you can see the circumflex running in the left crux between the left atrium and left ventricle. This is and goes posteriorly into the interventricular groove. And before going that, it supplies the left atrium and the lateral ventricle. Left atrium and lateral ventricle are supplied by the circumflex. And the right coronary, it comes between the right atrium and the right ventricle, right coronary sulcus, before it gives a branch to the SA node. Then as marginal, it supplies the acute marginal arteries, it supplies the right ventricle, full of right ventricle. Then it goes into the as posterior descending artery into the posterior interventricular groove. Here you can see it runs in the posterior interventricular groove and supply the posterior ventricle and supply the posterior part of the septum and posterior papillary muscle and the posterior part of the left ventricle. So these are the major causes of the right and left coronary artery and its supply. Here from the surgical point of view, this is the LAD and this is the diagonal and this is the left atrium. Here you can see the LAD and this is the diagonal. And here you can see the left atrium here and you can see the circumflex continuing as marginal, obtuse marginal. And this is the right coronary artery running between the right atrium and right ventricle